No? There you go. All right. Hilchos Tefilin, halacha hey. We're in the middle of Seif Tes. So we said that patience and perseverance are the results of emunah, of faith. When you have emunah, you can overcome everything. And it says the main thing is the person needs to know that it doesn't matter if he's a tzaddik, it doesn't matter if he's a rasha. He has to reinvent himself. That's the tachlis in Avodas Hashem, and not only, and this is the essence of life. Long life is a life that you recreate yourself at any given moment. In the very same way that there's that tzaddikim need to know that they need to rise up and rebuild themselves and restart at all times. The same thing, the Rishonim that fail 1,000 times to Sunday, no matter what they do, and they try 1,000 times and they fall again and again and again. The koach HaNetzah, they need to rejuvenate themselves at any given moment. He says, this is the patience that one needs. The person that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is patient with tzaddikim and is patient with Rishon. Those that are of great stature, that are tzaddikim, they have to be patient, that their wind, their energy will not be short-circuited, and they won't stop, getting more and more ruach and more vitality, because they have already attained and achieved such a great madrega. They need to be marich ruach and re-strengthen themselves, reboot themselves, and to get even higher and higher madregas, and begin anew. And those that are so small, even those that fall into mamish wickedness, there are people, murderers. Even as long as the neshama is within him, as long as he can move even one limb, you have to be patient, and you have to restart, and to wait for Yeshua at all times, and to start renew each and every time whatever you can, no matter what will be. There's no movement of kedusha, and there's no sigh, and there's no cry, and there's no yearning of kedusha that is ever lost. Nothing is ever lost. Because Hashem will never ever forsake you. This is what the Rebbe Nachman the one that wrote the Likutei Halachos, the triple Likutei Halachos, and he wrote volumes of he took the Torah of Baal Shem and all his Talmidim and quoted it, made an encyclopedia for what Baal Shem and his Talmidim said about every single subject, like Emes, Emunah, Godim, Bais, all Bitoch, and what they said in all this forum. And not only this, but he took what they said and puts it and he says what it is that they say from all these far, and then I think this is called Lashon Chasidim. It's called Lashon Chasidim, and then they took he took all this form of the Talmidei Magid, and he did the same thing, and he did like an encyclopedia of that. It's called Derech Hasidim. Like there's 4 volumes of that, and then he took the entire Likutei Halachos and he made a summary of Likutei Halachos, Kitzur Likutei Halachos from beginning to end, and again according to subjects, you know, to Yira, to Tefillah, to this, to that. Just like the whole thing is, you take a whole halacha and just put it like in 2 pages. The myself.
Where do you get that?
Where
can you get that? Where's that book?
That's Oitzer Yira. Oitzer Yira is Kitzur Likutei Halachos, and it's a synopsis of Likutei Halachos. Now Rebbe Nachman from Shiurim. What happened was that in the town of Shiurim there was a big kibbutz of Hasidim, Talmidim of Rebbe Nosson, and their Rav passed away, and they wanted to have a Rav that is a Breslov, that is a. So they asked Rebbe Nachman Goldstein, who was the son of the Rav of Breslev, who himself was the son of Rebbe Aaron the Rav, which is the one that the Rebbe made him the Rav in Breslev. He was the grandson of Rebbe Aaron the Rav. Yep. His father is the Rav, is Mordei Asher, and his grandfather is Mordei Asher. And this Rebbe Nachman Goldstein was Gon Otzim. He was just like 20 years old. Didn't move out of a room. He was just sitting and learning and davening and making. But it was just 24 hours. So they asked him. They wanted to make. It was a Gon Oilam. They wanted him to be the Rav, and he refused. So they went to Rebbe Naftali. Rebbe Naftali was the Rebbe's Talmid. He lived after he was still alive after Nosson, and he is one that the Rebbe said nobody knows of me except Rebbe Nosson and Naftali a little bit. Naftali knows of me a little bit, but in other words, that these are the only two who know anything about him. So they went to Rebbe Naftali. So you should talk to Rebbe Nachman. So you should be masking to be the Rav in Shiurim. So when he came to him, so he told him, listen, you sit down, you sit in the room and you learn. If somebody comes and asks you a question about halacha and you know the answer, you're not going to tell him? So, okay. So he was masking and he became the Rav of Shiurim. Nachman Shiurim. But the thing is that very, very quickly he found somebody who could be a poisek halochos, and he made him to be the one who's who paskins, and he says he made with him a condition. The only thing you're not going to do without me is a get. You're not going to okay any get without me. That was the tnai. Other than that, just go ahead and paskin all the halochos. And he sat down in his room and he learned and he down. So whenever there was, very difficult in Yonim, so they came to him. And then they just left him alone, and he came up with a velt of svarim, just like unbelievable. How many svarim he wrote? He wrote Rebbe Nosson says, the Rebbe says that with each one of my Torahs you go through the entire Torah. So he took Torah Aleph, wrote a sefer called Nachas HaShulchan, and he shows how all the halacha Shulchan Aruch, can be looked at from the prism of halacha Aleph. It's called Nachas HaShulchan. Then he went and wrote another book. It's called Yikra the Shabbos. It says that Shabbos throughout the Likutei Maharan, how Shabbos is, and he said that the minute that he finished writing this sefer, he couldn't sleep on Shabbos anymore. That's it. 24 hours before 26 hours, he couldn't sleep.
Nachman
Cherina, yes, because the Rebbe says, "Kol mekudesh b'yoser," that which one who is more sanctified, meruchok min hashena b'yoser. He's far from sleep. He's far from sleep. So he went kedusha Shabbos, Magad kedusha Shabbos in the entire Likutei Halachos. Boom, that's it. He can't sleep on Shabbos anymore. And then he says he wrote another sefer about Eretz Yisrael throughout the Likutei Halachos. So he wrote and he wrote and he wrote, and he was also tefillas to Likutei tefillas. He wrote more tefillas v'tachanunim. He wrote more tefillas. B'kitzur, Odom Godel Me'od.
This is Rebbe Nachman of Breslov?
No, Nachman Nachman was a Talmud of Rebbe Nosson. And he, to begin with, was a very simple man. He was a construction worker. He was an electrician. And if there would have been electricity, it would have been an electrician.
Like the plumber dog.
What?
Plumber dog.
No, he was and he came close to Rebbe Nosson, and he was Mishabesh Rebbe Nosson. He was like, to no end. He was with to the point that afterwards he became demonic Breslov after Rebbe Nosson. He's the one that so when somebody once asked him, Rebbe Nachman Tulchiner asked him to tell over a moifes of the Rebbe. Now, there's all kinds of stories about the moifes that the Rebbe did, but the Rebbe said that he was basically forbidden to perform moifes, because otherwise there would be no bechir b'chlal. Just what miracle.
Wonders.
He was forbidden in performing moifes. Otherwise, you learn the Likutei Halachos and you see all the moifes. That's it. Sammy's going home. So. And whatever mercy he did do, the Rebbe davened afterwards that they should be forgotten. So there's only few little things that are left of stories that the Rebbe did. But nevertheless, so when they asked Nachman Tulchiner, tell me a moifes from your Rebbe, like you said before, he says a moifes from Rebbe Benich. A moifes of the Rebbe is I am a moifes of the Rebbe. Take somebody who's so far, a construction worker, and to make him an Oved Hashem like I have become, what I think about myself, but to make this is a moifes. Rebbe says that to help a Baal Bechira, somebody who has choice, is a very, very difficult thing. So whenever Rebbe Nachman Cheriner would come, and Rebbe Nachman Tulchiner was the one who spoke, Shuddus or whatever it is. So when he would see Rebbe Nachman Cheriner, he wouldn't talk. How can he talk when Nachman Cheriner was there, such a goy olam? So, but Rebbe Nachman Cheriner wanted to hear what he had to say, what Rebbe Nachman Tulchiner had to say, because he knew that what Rebbe Nachman Tulchiner had is from Rebbe Nosson. What he got it from. He wanted to say he used to hide behind the door. Nachman Cheriner, that he used to hide behind the door, and that's the time when there was the big machlokes. And we said the story once before. Rebbe Nachman Cheriner, was wearing a Beged Rabbanos. He was a Rav Mordeh. He went another Breslev with Rebbe Rebbeinu. One of them snagged them through mud at them. So Nachman Cheriner just cleaned the mud, didn't say anything. The other one started screaming, said, like, nuts, what's wrong with you? So the Misnagid said to the other ones, you're not the real Breslov. He is, you're not. Oh, Cheriner, he's the one that kept quiet. He's a real Breslov. Towards the end, the reason why I'm telling you this whole thing is towards the end of his life, he was paralyzed. And he couldn't get up. And so they gave him on the Shamash. Who did they give? To old people, Nebuch, and to people who are in mental institutions, or people that are brain damaged. they give him Arabs. They give him very grub people. That they're not going to complain. Who are they going to complain to? Right? Whatever it is. But they gave him a very pasha to take him, and he was treating him roughly. So Nachman says, if we give on billig by dir, I became cheap by you. Instead of Nachman Sheriner, but it's because he can't move. So towards the end, he said to the people who came to him, he says, you think, look at him, and he's like, he can hardly move. So maybe, we shouldn't daven for him, we should stop suffering. He says, no, the opposite. As long as I can breathe, I can say Shema Yisrael. As long as I can breathe, I can miyachad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once you're gone, that's it. As Rebbe Nosson says, Kol zman sheneshama b'kirbo, as long as the neshama is in him. Kol zman shechol azuz be'ever echad, if you can move a single limb, just move a finger like that, and just move the eyes. Tzich la'arich ru'apoy v'ruchoy, be patient and persevere. Letzapot l'shua tomed, and wait for Yeshua at all times. And overcome and start anew each time. Start anew each and every time, whatever it is that can be. Not a single cry, a single wish, a single yearning, a single longing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ever lost. Because all this is the essence of Tefilin. This is that patience, that perseverance.
Why is it too late to find the sea?
שהוא בחינת המויכים והחיים החדושים שממשיכים על ידי מצוות תפילין מהזקן שבקדושו שמקבלים מהזקן העליון שהוא העבר. All this is the essence of Tefilin, which is the perseverance and patience, which is new moichin, which is new mentalities, which is renewal of the spirit, renewal of their awareness, a new life that you draw with the mitzvah of Tefilin from the elders Shebekdusha, who themselves receive it from the blind bettler, that big tzaddik. Simi Yud Aleph. This is that passage. This is the passage where you put the ritzuas of the tefillin. This is the passage of Yabok. Yaakov Avinu, when he went to visit Esav, he says he passed the river of Yabok, and that river of Yabok is there are many secrets of what is the Indian of Yabok. There's the Indian of Mikveh, there's the Indian of the tikkunim of all the spheres of Yichud, Kedusha, Bracha, is Rashi Tevis Yabok, v'chule. Zebchinas Mavar Yabok, the passage of Yabok, and there is a sefer which deals with all whatever is going on when a person passes away, passing from this world to the next. It's called Mavar Yabok. It's a very famous sefer. It's Shubchinas Mavar Yabok, Amor Bakavonas, and Kavonas Ariza, Keretzuas, and Bchinas Amshoches Hamochin Shel HaTefilin. The Retzuas, this is the conduit, this is the cables that bring you down the Mochin. Shubchinas Or Aponim, the Mochin of the Tefilin, the mentalities of the Tefilin, is Or Aponim. That's the light of the face of Hashem. Shubchinas Shlosha Tikkunim Diknu, which is the 13 tikkunim of the Bchinas Erech HaPayim. This is the patience. Ritzua begematria shin aleph. The word ritzua, the strip, the man of the tefillin, gematria shin ayin. This is 370. Zebchinat shin ayin hoirin shel oyer aponim. It says the oyer aponim has 370 different kinds of lights come over. The Ritzuas themselves are long, This is the thing that this signifies, alludes to the patience and the kind of lengthening of the ruach that the person needs to pull over himself. That the person draws upon himself the resiliency, the rejuvenation. This resiliency and patience and constant renewal is orapanim. That's the light of the face of Hashem Keviyachol. This is the thing that is being drawn down to you, make it usable through these cables. And this sweetens, ameliorates, and cancels out that which is called Ritzua Bisha. It's called the bad belt. I'm sorry? The belt, the bad strap. This is when this is the strap that whips and smacks the chayovim. This is the place of all the Yisurim and all the dinim. One of the things that we need to understand, that whenever it is that we say klipos, whenever it is that we say, we say punishments, whatever we say, straps, of bad straps. We are always talking about the same inyan. The ishtanus, the way that it changes from one to the other is by the difference there is in the makabel, the one who receives. When somebody is chayav, this would say that the eish of Gehenna, the fire of Gehenna is really the fire of Hashem. The fire of Hashem, when somebody is chayav, somebody is a sinner, the effect that it has on him is eish of Gehenna. When somebody is a tzaddik, it says the osid lovoi, it says Gehenna is going to be bottled, and it says osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lotzi chamo min artik. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take the sun out of its sheath, because right now the sun is blocked. The inside the sun is a hotter core. It's in the sheath. Also, the astronomers also say there's something called a sheath that's covering the sun, that cools down the sun, so to speak, the inner core of the sun. So Osid Lavoid, Oti HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lo'otzi Chama Min Artik. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take out the sun from its shield, from its sheath, and the Rishonim are going to burn from it, and the Tzaddikim are going to heal from it. When Asati Lechem Yirei Shmi, and I gave you those who fear my name, Shemesh Tzedoko, a Shemesh, there is a sun that it's Tzedoko, Umar Pevichnafea, and there's healing in its wings. It's the same sun is like this, the same sun is like that. When you take a look at Ma'aseh Merkavo of Yechezkel ben Buzi, and you see it starts with, it says, Vare ani oimed al nehar Kvar, I'm standing on the river Kvar, and it says, V'idvar Hashem Yechezkel ben Buzi, and it says, here comes from the north Ruach Sa'ora, a storm wind, Ve'onan Godel, and a great cloud, Ve'esh Misakachas, and a self-taking fire. Ve'nogol Asaviv, and there's a glow around it. And he says before this, in Unmaron, and their side Ke'en Achashmo, and they seem like the color of speaking silence. Chashmal, the Gemara says Chashmal is Chash Mishon, silent. Mal is Memalalos. Chayes Eish Memalalos. This is speaking silent. And this is how he starts. That's what Chashmal is. Chashmal is not electricity, as we understand it. If it's Chashmal, it's basically the Nar Kvar is the Zohar says, what is Nar Kvar? Shekvar Hoya. It's a Nar that already was. There is the source of all the waters in the world. Is Nar Yitzem Eden, that there's a river comes out of Eden. That's the sort of all purity. You know, basically he is, Cheskel Ben Buzi is describing the process through which he received the Nevuah. This is all the Nevi'im saw the Merkava. Yeshayahu saw the Merkava, they all saw the Merkava. The only one who describes it is Cheskel Ben Buzi, and he did it outside of Eretz Yisrael. Where the cloud, Nevuah is only possible in Eretz Yisrael. Yes. The clouds, you can only get it in Eretz Yisrael. He saw Nar Kvar, which is the Bavel. And he describes the entire, the entire Ma'aser Merkava. Not only this, but he also describes the entire process of Kabbalah's Nevuah. Of the process the person needs to go through in order to receive Nevuah. So, there's a process. First of all, he goes to the mikveh. Nar Kvar is the union of Nahar Yitzeh Gan Eden, and all the waters of the world, as long as they are not being shi'uven, as long as they are not being put into man-made vessels, they have this ability to purify. And all the purification happens in the Nar Yitzeh Eden. That river comes out of Eden. It's interesting that when do we say Nar Yitzeh Eden? After this, after it says that there's a gun inside in the middle, and in the middle there's Eitz Hadas. In other words, in Eitz Hadas is already a possibility of Chet, right? A possibility of Tumah. In the very, very beginning, the shorish of possible choice is in Eitz Hadas. So immediately in the Chumash, after it says Eitz Hadas, it says V'nar Yitzem Hagan, and then that's it. V'nar Yitzem Me'ed Nashkos Hagan. There's already the mode of rectification, of repurifying and he goes through the process. First of all, he goes to the mikveh, and then there's an action of where the Navi divorces his physical being. It starts with Ani, he feels himself. And he starts with it, and then he says he goes into, gets out of himself. He transcends himself, and there he already speaks. He's already speaking about himself in the third person. He's no longer in himself. And he's talking about the ruach, the ruach sa'ara. When a person is in a meditative state, and you're tuning out the world. The Novi always goes alone, tuning out the world in order to hear the whisper of Dvar Hashem. As it is said, it's very much like when you had the radio and you had to go with the knobs, and you have to go right. So there's static around it until you actually hit the station itself. And you have to fine tune it. You can't just up the volume, because together with the station you get all the static, right? So you have to fine tune until you get only the station, and then you can turn it up, right? Then you can turn it up like 1,000 times over. You can hear a very faint kind of argosha. Now what happens when the static all of a sudden comes in? The static noise suddenly comes in. So it's 1,000 times over. This is even the neshima, the breath of a person, the physical breath of a person, is like a ruach. So that's what the Zohar says. This is the ruach sa'ora, the sound of the air going out, in and out the lungs. That's what the Zohar says. When a person is attuned to the nevuah, sounds like the next thing is an experience of total silence, of total void. But it's not a void like Arizal explained. It's not. There's a difference between ayin and efes. Ayin is and the difference between ayin and efes is ayin is a perception. There's something there, but it's so deep and so profound that it looks to us like nothing. I mean, when a top physicist will sit and explain to you Einstein's theory of relativity, you listen to it and it says like he's speaking nothing because you don't get any of it. So Ayin is mitzad makaba. It's nothingness that is pregnant with possibilities. Efes is a total Ayin. There's nothing there b'chlal. It's a different experience. So then the second thing that he goes through is that Novi goes through a process of Ayin, a process of nothingness, a pregnant nothingness. This is Onon Godol. Onon is darkness. Godol Mishon Chesed. There's possibilities. It's from within the darkness that he's going to receive his nevuah. It's like, the radio after hours. There's nothing there. Just a little hum. That there's something there. It's a nothingness with something there. And then comes esh mishlakachas, comes a self-taking fire. The Ramban explains in Bereshis that the esh and the or that we're talking about, the elemental esh, is not the kind of bright burning fire that we understand. What it actually is what the Zohar says in the Idro. It says, Botzina de Kardenusa, is a lamp of darkness. We have a lamp of light, so we have a lamp of darkness. The Chalapanoi was carved out kaviyachol with a lamp of darkness. This is a black fire, a fire that does not emanate. This is the union of esh shchera al gabe esh lavana. That you have the black fire, which is the elemental fire, on top of white fire, which is Or Ein Sof. And this is how the world is created. What Arizal explains, what he experienced at that time, that fire? He experienced the fire of Gehenna. Cheskel ben Buzi, on his way to receive the nevuah, has experienced the fire of Gehenna. What does it mean? No, Cheskel ben Buzi. The answer is that the ash of Gehenna is the ash that is the fire that cleanses all the impurities. The fire of Gehenna is not a vindictive fire. The fire of Gehenna is a purifying fire. If there happens to be any impurities, it burns them off. We live this life with a notion that nistader, because that's the way things are in life, never give up, whatever it is, give it over. There's another aspect to it, when we finish our job over here, and a person goes out, says that fire that Cheskel ben Buzi experienced, the Rebbe explains, is the fire of Busha. It's the fire of shame. The Rebbe says that the Busha is worse than all the other fires of Gehenna, because it's a fire that you cannot escape. It's a burning feeling you cannot escape. It's not a physical pain that you can anesthetize. It's not a psychological pain that you can run away from somehow. It's a fire. It's a pain that is just there. When a person becomes totally transparent to himself, this is the stage of cleansing, of spiritual ascension, that the Navi comes in on his way to receive the Nevuah. We're going to live this world. We're going to leave it. And malasot. Days are going to come. Not Hashem later rather than sooner. But you don't feel too well. You get to the point, you don't feel too well. Then comes the day of passage. You go from this world to the next one. And then the body is left behind. Everything is left behind. And the person is totally transparent. Everything that the person did is there, and is going to be subjected to the light. It's going to be subjected to the fire. The fire is going to be the result of meeting HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Ora Panim, when it meets the Avera, it results in shame. It results in fire rather than burning sensation. Ashrei Aish that does tshuva in this world. So it says the Ritzuah of Tefilin, which is the Ritzuah Toiva, through the Ora Panim that comes through the Ritzuah Toiva, you get in the Tikkun to sweeten and be mevatel the Ritzuah Bisha. Just to finish the sakdama about the Cheskel ben Buzi, that when he finishes going through these first three klipos, which are the three outer trappings of the prophetic vision, he gets to the nekuda of Noigel Asaviv, which is a semi-permeable tissue. That's the way you say it. Tissue. That's the membrane, semi-permeable membrane. Between the kedusha and the tuma. Semi-porous. It can. Then he gets to a point where the senses already sense that which is impossible to sense. We have it. I think it has a name. And the name is something when the senses, when you start seeing the sounds and this sensia, something that was when the Am Yisrael went through this process. They went through, with the wine, with the fire, with the whole thing, and they were, the neshama went out, and it resulted in achieving a state where the senses themselves, you are able to, you reach a certain point of elevation where Am Yisrael saw the sounds. So basically, Yechezkel is giving you the description of the state that he was when he was ready to receive the Nevuah. And he says, and before them, so you want me to tell you what is the state? Like the color of the speaking silence. The silence that is pregnant with possibilities is a speaking silence. When you can already see the sounds, when the senses start, switching, you can see that which you can taste, and you can taste that which you can see, and you can see what you can hear. So he says, he describes to you that when you come and their color, and before them is the color of the speaking silence, and then it always starts. But let's go back to. So the Ritzua Bisha.
Pick up the point that was asked originally, which is the idea of erech hapayim. That was the patience. And the patience is demonstrated through the length of tsuros that come out from the bati. So since the or aponim is in tefillin, now we take the or aponim, we want to be erech hapayim. The erech hapayim is manifest through the straps, which are aruch, which are long. So we want to be patient and have the ability to have patience, as we spoke about previously, in the previous halacha, is manifested through the traveling of the or of the erech hapayim through the tsuros. That's the element of patience, erech hapayim, manifested through the tsuros.
So I went through this entire tangent here in order to tell you this Indian that through the or aponim that you draw with the ritzuas, with the straps, the nimtok v'nisbat al b'chinas ritzua bisha shel ritzua al kol chayavo shemisham kol isur v'adilim chas v'sholom. It's the same kind of ritzua. It's either this or that. When you permeate the ritzua with or aponim, it sweetens that inevitability that for the averis kabisurim. What can you do? And through this aspect of erech hapayim, that you draw upon yourself by the lengthening of the ritzuos, and this is what Rebbe Eliyahu said now, that they come, they're being drawn from or aponim, which is the tefillin, the mentalities. This gives you the koyach to get over and to withstand and to endure all the trials and tribulations and sweeten them.
I want to just add another point on this idea of or aponim, because we said before that or aponim is connected also to the 7 roshim of the tefillin, the 3 on the right and the 4 on the left, which also is an element of the shiva panim on the face, and the 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and the mouth, which is connected to the sheva kane hamenoira, which is the or of the menorah, which is the or aponim. So even though on the one hand we're saying it's or aponim from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to us, but also once that or aponim from Hashem comes to reach us, to shine on the face, which is the 7 stems of the menorah, which is also brings out light, that perhaps this idea of the sheva panim of the or is also connected to the ritzuros, when we have the 7 straps that we wrap around the yad, which is really only a minhag. It's not the halacha. The halacha is just to go straight, but the minhag is maybe perhaps to connect the sheva panim of the tefillin shalosh and to connect it into the sheva krichos on the tefillin shayad. This is the thought as a derech ha'efshar.
It definitely sounds good. Definitely sounds good. We'll see. Maybe we'll find a makor for that. And he says that through the erech hapayim that you put through the lengthening of the ritzuos that comes from or aponim, this enables a person to go over everything that goes over him. And the Shiurim, the sufferings, don't have the ability to prevent a person from avodas Hashem. Because you already have acquired the trait of endurance. That a person usually be patient and go under the weather, under the radar, as they say, after everything. And a person doesn't get impatient from any kind of sufferings, any kind of obstacles in the world. says shaloi, but you do yours. And you deal with Torah and Avodas Hashem until you're zoiche to overcome them and to put them away. Through this bechina of arichas apayim, of patience and endurance, you don't even look at them. You don't even look at them. This is the thing that cancels them altogether. You have to understand. I think we said it already a couple of times before. The meaning of Yisurim, any kind of suffering, is really made of two elements. First, there's the actual distress itself, physical pain or whatever it is. Then there is the effect that those specific suffering has on a person because of psychological reasons. These sufferings are much worse than the actual original suffering. I gave this mashal with a pin, that somebody wants to prick it with a pin. You freaked out when you go to Kupat Cholim for blood, to take blood. You just give up your arm, no problem. There's no traumas, no nothing. Why? Because you know the purpose of it. When you realize the purpose of the Yisurim, so it just shrinks down to the bare minimum, and then it's over. It's finished. You don't carry, a trauma is only when a person suffers Yisurim, and he doesn't see any reason for it, any tachlis for it. Then it becomes, I can't believe it, and I suffered, and this, and that happened, whatever. But if you know this, for a reason, listen, they have to take blood, they have to make it, finished. Not only this, you feel good about it. I took care of myself. I went and took blood, I kept on pushing it, finally I went and I did it. My wife told me, go already, do the checkups. I did it, I took care of myself. You have to fast up 24 hours to take the tests, whatever. It's nothing. A person, through this rituals of the Tefilin, this arichas apayim, it gives you the ability to neutralize the second wave of Yisurim. The actual Yisurim, the actual suffering themselves are very small. When you take a look at your life, I had a lot of trouble in my life, most of it never happened. It means that most of the stuff that you're worried about, you had a lot of trouble in your life, and most of it never happened, but you worried about it was going to happen, it didn't happen, whatever. The point is that if you eliminate all the things that never happened, if every once in a while you had a little dot here, a little nakuda there, whatever it is, that's all it is. He says the arichas apayim allows you to see the purpose of everything. When you are able to see the purpose of the Yisurim, like in the blood test, it's no big deal. A little tip, finished. There's no extra baggage. There's no, So it says through this, you don't get impatient, you don't get flummoxed, you don't get discombobulated. Like I said, you don't look at them. Through this, it's really mevatel them. All the Yisurim and all the obstacles, including people asking you, what can you get from Uman, Rosh Hashanah, that you can get from Eretz Yisrael? And what your wife is going to do? 4 days and they're going to be at home. What she's going to do?
Lucky it's 4 days.
Probably she's going to be happy. If anything, have a little manucha. All the Yisurim, all the Manias, they all come just to test you. It all comes to test you, to try to veer you off from your derech and avodas Hashem. When a person is strong in his das, and he takes a deep breath, so to speak, and doesn't look at them at all, it just cancels out, it just peters out, it just fades like a smoke in the wind. This is the lengthening of the ritzua, or upon him. This is the lengthening of or upon him. This is the deep breath of sighing and overcoming it. This cancels out the wicked strap, the strap of punishment, what they call cat o' nine tails. Because everything gets sweetened, everything gets ameliorated, everything is cancelled out through this arichas apayim, through this patience and endurance. This is the sweetening of the dinim. This is the holding down of kas v'din. This is the passage of the tefillin. This is where the straps are going. Yabok is the gematria of the two names, Shem Havaya and Shem Elokim. Kamuva. This is I will praise Hashem when it is Yudkei Vavkei, when it is Chesed. I will praise Hashem when it's Elokim, it's P'chinas judgment. And to get close to Him, when a person is having a grand old time and when things are not so easy, chas v'sholom. Ben ba'aliyah, ben berida, some when you're going up and some when you're going down. שזה בחינת בשם על הדבר, באלוקים על הדבר. כמו בתור מי האיש החפץ חיים, סימן למד גימל. And before we go on to this Nekuda, I just want to reiterate something that we learned yesterday in Sipur Maisias, that the Ha'or of Rav Avush about this union of the 3 weeks, when somebody asked them, about whether a specific type of simcha is mutter in during the 3 weeks, what is allowed, what is not allowed, and he explained that the 3 weeks are not a time of sadness. He says the 3 weeks, says you have to understand that Simcha Amitis is only with the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the shleimus of Kol HaChisroinus. Simcha of all that is lacking. Simcha, expression, the experience of Simcha, is that which a person feels when he lacked something and that lack has been fulfilled. You're somebody you like very much, you love very much, you haven't seen them for a long time, you miss them. When you get together with them, you feel a lot of simcha because the chesaron was mismale, because the lack was fulfilled. When a person needs money, so when he gets the money, he's b'simcha. Right? Because it's an experience of where the chesaron was being fulfilled. Afterwards, the money in itself, there's no simcha in money. Forget. But when the chesaron,
I have this book, and you give me this book. I already have it. I don't need it.
That's right. It's only when they experience the miloy chesaron. The thing is that we are all chos HaKadosh Baruch Hu has implanted in us, in all human beings, the need to receive, the need to be mischadish, to get more and more. This is it's like a void that can never be filled, because the only way to fill it, the only thing that fills the void is HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself. The only simcha there is, the shleimus amiti, is only kirvas Hashem. And when a person has kirvas Hashem, he has simcha. It doesn't matter whether he has money, doesn't have money, he has health, doesn't have health. It doesn't matter. He has simcha. That's the simcha amitis. And now, when a person is in Golas, the person in Golas is, and this is by the way where the Cheskem Mebuzi started, Vani b'soch ha-goyla, and I am in the goyla, in exile, al kvar. He says, when he was still an I, in the feeling of an eye that went in exile. That feeling of an eye goes in exile. Galus Shechinah is when a person goes into himself to try to find himself, and only finds himself is a void, because the eye is detached from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ani Rishon v'ani Achron, Ani Matati v'ani Achaya. I'm the first, I'm the last, I'm the one who killed, I'm the one who brings life all over again. The eye is v'simcha only when you're in touch with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So being that we are in Galus, so what we do is we use all kinds of inyonas simcha, all kinds of music and this to keep ourselves entertained in the meantime, not to fall into depression, because the matzav is that when Beit HaMikdash was here, he says, I'm Asherchem B'Teicha, the people of Am Yisrael. Nos Oven, there was no Averis, because all the Averis of the night, the Tovim Shel Boker was Machapa, all the Averis, the sacrifice of the morning was already Mechaper. All the Averis of the day, the Tam Shel Ben Arbaim, the Korban Tamid of the afternoon was Machapa. So the people in Eretz Yisrael were clean of Averis all day long. All night long and all day long, so they can experience Hashem. There was Simcha. The Mir Beis HaMikdash was Nechrav, it was destroyed. The source of Simcha has disappeared. The Shekhinah is gone. The Shekhinah is gone. There's a feeling of lack, like, as we said, like when your mother is not home. When the mother is not home, nothing is right. When the mother is home, even if things are up topsy-turvy, everything is okay. The mother is not home, nothing is right. So many people make this mistake, Shem Yirachem. They think, they have tzuros from their wives, and it's a little bit difficult here and there. They think, something? I'm going to divorce, I'm going to get someone better. Shem Yirachem. I get someone better. Look, sometimes, what can you do? But people become so spoiled, like such babies, they don't know what Shem Yirachem B'Kitzur. The mother in the house, this is, the Shekhinah. So what we do is throughout the year, we use all kinds of inyonas simcha to keep ourselves entertained, to keep the pain dulled, to anesthetize the pain that we feel because we're far from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. The only thing we're doing through these 3 weeks, we're not using painkillers. We're not using these additives. We're not using these artificial sweeteners. We just feel things the way they really are, and automatically this comes out as the evel. The mourning that we do is not a mourning of despair, of being abandoned, that nobody cares about you, that nobody looks at you. It's a yearning of, you have your family members there in America and you're here and you haven't seen them in such a long time, and you're longing to see them. That is the kind, because when it's over, it's over. But as long as it's not over, there's hope there. So the tears that are there are tears of hope. Kodesh Baruch Hu is longing for us from the other side. That's why in Sipur Maises, in the Maisa of Avedas Basmelech, we see that when does the Sheni Lamalchus go to look for the Basmelech? When he sees the Tsar of the father. The Kodesh Baruch Hu has a Tsar which is double and triple and quadruple gazillion are the aints of the Tsar that we've had. He wants to come to us. We are crying to come to him, he's crying to come to us. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll be zoichet to be in Beis HaMikdash. Amen.